I Am a Filipino by Carlos P. Ramulo. I am a Filipino, inheritor of glorious past, hostage to uncertain future. As such, I must prove equal twofold tasks, the task of meeting my responsibility to the past, and the task of performing obligation to the future. I sprang from a hardy race, child many generations removed of ancient Malayan pioneers. Across the centuries, the memory comes rushing back to me of brown-skinned men putting out to sea in ships that were frail as their hearts were stout. Over the sea I see them come, borne upon the billowing wave and the whistling wind, carried upon the mighty swell of hope, hope in free abundance of new land that was to be their home and their children forever. This is the land they sought and found, every inch of shore that their eyes first set upon, every hill and mountain that beckoned to them with a green and purple invitation, every mile of rolling plain that their view encompassed, every river and lake that promised and plentiful living and fruitfulness of commerce, is a hallowed spot to me. By the strength of their hearts and hands, by every right of law, human and divine, this land and all the appurtenances thereof, the black and fertile soil, the seas and lake and rivers teeming with fish, the forests with their inhospitable wealth in wildlife and timber, the mountains with their bowels swollen with minerals, and whole of rich and happy land has been, for centuries without number, the land of my fathers. This land I received in trust from them, in trust will pass into my children, and so on until the world is no more. I am a Filipino. In my blood runs immortal seeds of heroes, seed that flowers down the centuries in deeds of courage and defiance. In my veins yet pulses the same hot blood that sent Lapu-Lapu to battle against the first invader of this land, that nerve Lakandula in the combat against the alien foe, that drove Diego Silang and Dagahoy in rebellion against the foreign oppressor. The seed is immortal. It is the self-same seed that flowered in the heart of Jose Rizal, that morning in Bagumbayan, when the valley of shots put in the end to all that was mortal of him and made his spirit deathless forever. The same that flowered into hearts of Bonifacio in Balintawak, of Gregorio del Pilar at Tirad Pass, of Antonio Luna at Kalumpit, and bloomed in flowers of frustration in the sad heart of Emilio Aguinaldo at Palanan, and yet burst forth royally against in the proud of heart of Manuel El Quezon, when he stood at last on the threshold of ancient Malacanang Palace in the symbolic act of possession and racial vindication. The seed I bear within me, an immortal seed, is the mark of my manhood, the symbol of my dignity as a human being. Like the seeds, they were once buried in the tomb of Tutankhamen many thousand years ago. It shall grow and flower and bear fruit again. It is the insignia of my race. And my generation is but a stage in the unending search of my people for freedom and happiness. I am a Filipino, child of marriage of East and West. The East is the liquor and mysticism. Its passivity and endurance was my mother, and my sire was the West that came thundering across the seas with the cross and sword and the machines. I am the East, an eager participation in spirit and its struggles for liberation from the imperialist yoke. But I also know the East must awake from its century sleep, shake off the lethargy that has bound his limbs, and start moving where destiny awaits. For I, too, am of the West, and the vigorous people of the West have destroyed forever the peace and quiet that once were ours. I can no longer live a being apart from those whose world now trembles to the roar of bomb and cannon shot. I cannot say of my mother of universal life and death, of freedom and slavery for all mankind, that is concern me not. For no man and no nation is an island, but a part of the main, there is no longer any east and west. Only individuals and nation making those momentous choices, which are the hinges upon which history resolves. At the vanguard of progress in this part of the world, I stand, a forlorn figure in the eyes of some, but no one defeated and lost. For though the thick and interlasting branches of habit and custom above me, I have seen the light of the sun, and I know that is good. I have seen the light of justice and equality and freedom. My heart has been lifted by the vision of democracy, and I shall not rest until the land and my people shall have been blessed by this, beyond the power of any man or nation to subvert or destroy. I am a Filipino, and this is my inheritance. What pledge shall I give that may prove worthy of my inheritance? I shall give the pledge that has come ringing down the corridors of the century, and I shall be compounded of the joyous cries of Malayan forebears when first they saw the contours of this land loom before their eyes, of the battle cries that have resounded in every field of combat, from Mactan to Tirad Pass, of the voice of my people when they sing, Land of the morning, child of the sun returning, ne'er shall invaders trample thy scaring shore. Out of the lush green and these 7,000 isles, out of the heartstring of 16 million people, all vibrating the one song, I shall wave the mighty fabric of my pledge out of the song of farmers and sunrise when they go to labor in fields, out of the sweat of the hard-beaten pioneers in Malig and Coronadal, out of the silent endurance of stevedores and the peers of the ominous grumbling peasants in Pampanga, out of the first cries of babies newly born and the lullabies that mothers sing out of the crashing of gears and the whine of turbines in the factories, out of the crunch of plowshares of turning the earth, out of limitless patience of teachers in the classroom and doctors in the clinics, out of the trump soldier marching, I shall make the pattern of my pledge. I am a Filipino to freedom, and I shall not rest until freedom shall have been added unto my inheritance, for myself and my children and my children's children forever. Thank you.